Let's be honest, it's a sound that can make any homeowner's heart stop. That little drip that becomes a steady stream, or that awful squish you feel in the carpet where it was perfectly dry just a few hours ago. Water damage, it feels like a total catastrophe, right? But what's really happening when your home is flooding, and how do the pros use actual science to turn that soaked out mess back into a home that's safe and dry? Well, we're gonna break it all down. So, picture this. You walk into your kitchen, ready to make coffee, and bam! There's an inch of water and it's spreading fast from a burst pipe. The panic is real. Your cabinets, your appliances, your floors, it's all at risk. But this is the exact moment where the chaos stops and a methodical, scientific process needs to begin.
You know, the first thing you have to understand about water damage is this. The second that water shows up, a clock starts ticking. And I mean, it's ticking loud. Every single minute you wait, that damage is creeping further and further into your home, into the drywall, under the flooring, you name it.
And what's wild is how many different ways water can decide to invade your home. It's not always some big, dramatic storm flood. We're talking about things like hidden pipes that just give up, tiny cracks in the foundation, or even your air conditioner. Yep, if that condensation line gets clogged, especially in a humid climate, it can cause a massive amount of damage.
And here is exactly why that ticking clock is so important. This number right here, 24 to 48 hours. That's the window you have before mold spores, which, by the way, are pretty much always floating around in the air, find that moisture and start to grow. After that 2-day mark, you're not just dealing with a water problem anymore. You're fighting a potential health hazard.
So you've made the call for help. A team is on the way. What happens now? This is where the emergency response really kicks into high gear. It is all about assessing the situation and getting it under control fast. The very first thing the technicians are going to do is play detective. They need to figure out exactly where the water is coming from. And, this is crucial, how dirty it is. Is it clean water from a water heater? Or is it something much worse, like a sewage backup? That one answer changes the entire game plan.
So in the industry, they classify water into 3 main categories. You've got Category 1, which is clean water. Think of a broken supply line. Then there's Category 2, or gray water. This might be from a washing machine overflow. It's got some soaps and stuff in it. And then you have Category 3, black water. This is the serious one, coming from sewage or floodwaters, and it's a major health risk. Which category it is determines everything that happens next.
All right, so the source is stopped. The water is categorized. Now the real science kicks in. And trust me, this is way more than just setting up some fans and hoping for the best. This is a calculated, scientific process designed to pull moisture out of the very bones of your house.
There's a real method to the madness, and it breaks down into 3 core phases. First, you get in there, inspect everything, and get the standing water out, and I mean out. Then the really technical part begins, the controlled drying and dehumidification. And finally, you sanitize everything and verify that it's all back to normal.
Now here's something really important to understand, the difference between mitigation and restoration. Think of mitigation as the emergency room visit. It's the first aid. It's all about stopping the bleeding, extracting the water, and preventing any more damage from happening. Restoration, that's what comes after. That's the rebuilding process, replacing the drywall, putting in new floors, and getting your home back to the way it was before the disaster.
And this right here is basically the secret sauce. It's a fancy word, psychrometrics, but it's really the physics of how air, temperature, and moisture all play together. Certified technicians understand this science, and they use it to create the perfect drying environment. They can pull moisture out of walls and floors without causing new problems, like warping your beautiful hardwood floors by drying them out way too fast.
And how do they know it's working? They're not just guessing. They come armed with a whole toolkit of some seriously cool tech. They use thermal imaging cameras that can literally see water hiding behind a wall. They've got moisture meters to get exact readings from drywall and wood. And those giant truck-mounted extractors, they can pull out hundreds of gallons of water in no time at all.
But hey, the job isn't just about the house itself, is it? It's about protecting your belongings, your memories, and making sure the whole place is healthy and safe when the work is done. So how do they tackle that?
Well, if your furniture or photos or other personal items get wet, they're not just written off. Professionals will often do what's called a pack-out. They'll carefully inventory and photograph everything, then move the salvageable items to a special facility where they can be properly cleaned, dried, and restored.
So once everything is finally verified as dry, but before a single piece of new drywall goes up, there's one last critical step:
sanitization. Technicians will apply antimicrobial treatments to make sure no hidden mold or bacteria can pop up later, and it also gets rid of that awful musty smell.
Okay, the house is dry, it's safe. But now comes the part that for many people is the most stressful of all, dealing with the insurance claim. This is another area where having a pro who follows a scientific process makes a world of difference.
This quote right here says it all. The detailed, scientific proof that a professional restoration company provides, that becomes the key to unlocking your insurance claim. It's undeniable proof of just how far the damage went, both the stuff you can see and all the stuff you can't.
So, what kind of proof are we talking about? It's way more than just a few pictures on your phone. We're talking daily logs that track the moisture levels in every affected room. Thermal images that show the insurance adjuster exactly where water traveled behind the walls. Detailed records of every single piece of equipment used. This is the hard data that tells the complete story.
So at the end of the day, here's the real question. Getting a house dry is one thing, but is it truly restored? Getting it back to its pre-loss condition, structurally sound, safe to breathe in, and free of any hidden threats, that takes science. It takes the right tech, and it takes a meticulous process. And that's the difference between just a quick fix and a true lasting recovery.